Hey there, guys. Nolan and Jason here with Roofing Webmasters.
Howdy.
So today we're talking about the roofing brand SEO Gold Rush. And I know we talk about branded traffic now. I would argue
A
that
lot.
so EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trust, signals being the new way to think about search engine optimization,
Right.
and SEO being kind of an old term, but probably still the primary thing that people think about.
Yeah.
And the problem is when people think in this way, at this point, they're just thinking in a spammy way.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they're thinking SEO is defined in their head as a certain group of things you do.
Yeah.
You know, can you SEO my site? We hear them
And
say
before
that.
somebody loses interest in this because it's too inane, I mean, this stuff is important that you understand this slight distinction.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand this slight distinction and get it, you're literally spamming your website.
Yeah.
And not sending digital branded signaling. You're sending fake signals, spam, and fake could be like, I'll say it until they're going to be gone someday. I don't care what you guys think. Blogging will die out eventually. It's already gone. It's just that Google has to put up cruddy websites that have trust and tenure. They have crappy content like blogs because they don't have enough people.
Yeah, because they don't have, in a lot of cases, in some markets, they don't have anything else to put up. But they would much prefer a completely different approach.
Somebody getting educated and understanding what the digital branded signaling is, what is the new version of SEO, how can I position myself to get more of that? Because you can get so far ahead of competition that it would be ridiculous if you actually understood and tried it all and didn't have preconceived notions like, oh, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and get content to throw up blogs that nobody in their right mind wants to read.
Yeah, put up some crap blogs, grab some crap links out of Mumbai, as you like to say.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do,
Let's
right?
call some guy to throw some links out of the country. Some dude in Mumbai, India will do it, and then let's get some punk at Fiverr to throw up these AI stuff. I'm smart and I'm going to beat Google.
Right.
And like that's what you need to do is champion the brand in ways that actually provides a good user experience. They call it helpful content, the blog and all the old stuff. Once you think you've like, oh, I'm going to do this, or it's easy now, then you're probably 10 years behind at that point.
Yeah.
Once you've actually heard that. So most of everybody, 8%, 99%, almost every roofer in the market doesn't understand this. So if you think about making not just content and words, but anything signaled about your brand, and you thought about it from stuff that's 10 years old, like blogs and links out of the country. I mean, those are just two of the main things.
Yeah, those are just two big examples.
Let's get more citations. And citations aren't bad necessarily, but stuff becomes spammy.
Put up 100 city pages or something like that.
Yeah, how are we going to get more people to find us? And let's throw in content about Springfield. I mean, this is like, what about, downtown area and this part of town? And people just come up with wacky ideas that is horrible content. It's not roofer content.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with your business. The old idea that you generate traffic to your site by just going after something broadly topical or local, or if something newsworthy happens and you tie into that, or there's some trend you're seeing on Twitter or something.
Or if you try to justify this and your stuff you think is newsworthy, but it's really not at all, and you're just trying to make it up to make or it's like, hey, I really worked hard on these AI blogs, or like, hey,
I spent minutes asking the AI what to write. To write something.
This is off, and barely, and it's not. I talked to a guy the other day, and it was. I never really say this. This guy I talked to for over an hour one time. I don't mind talking to people. I don't mind describing things, but the guy was so far off on his understanding of marketing that the conversation went on forever on just him attempting to justify to himself by him talking out loud to me, trying to get me to validate.
Yeah, trying to get you to agree with him, so you do things his way.
So that his stuff would all of a sudden become correct.
Yeah.
But he was so far down on understanding, and I will say this out loud because I'll talk to anybody, and I want to rude to this guy, and we might take his business, but I won't deal with him directly.
Right.
I talk to almost all clients now, but if this guy calls up again, I cannot deal with somebody who doesn't understand any of it.
Yeah.
Like any of it. Yeah.
It's not someone who doesn't understand. It's someone who refuses to understand.
Refuses and has a disrespect for the professional nature. This is a professional service. And that's one thing I want to say to somebody listening, because somebody listening to this isn't going to be offended by this because they're listening to it and getting educated.
Yeah.
And if they think I'm wrong, then go try your whole life to get up in ranking. Ignore all professional services and consultation with really sharp people in their space. And see how well it goes.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, go. Essentially, in our company, for some reason, you'll try to find the best CPA or accountant, the best lawyer, but somebody or the best doctor, the best dentist. We all drive by dental offices, and you're like, who the hell would walk in there? But it's just somebody that has some guy that does dental plans, and he's never cleaned his windows once in the parking lot. It's just horrible looking.
Yeah, there's one of those down the road.
Yeah, they're all over but you don't go to that dentist.
No.
None of us do. And so, but you'll go in your office and have 5 people working. So you're the marketing manager, and some poor sucker that you pointed at, it's like, well,
He's like, okay, sure, boss.
Okay, boss. And then you're like, well, make it happen. And like that. And that just is like synonymous with our industry.
Yeah, we see it constantly.
And to try to talk somebody into it is just like one of the most frustrating things. I have so much, breasts on earth, to try to explain it to somebody. But I at the end of the conversation, I was talking to this guy, and I said, let's be honest, you've never even paid a good price to try to get up in ranking.
Right.
Your website's horrible. He had lost his domain. And I said, well, did you pay him? And I said, they were taking his domain, taking his website, and commandeered his GBP. It was an awful situation. I'm like,
I think I remember this, and you told me about it. And the initial amount he was paying someone was already low, and then he cut it by about 25%, and then he cut it in half after that.
Yeah, it was cut. He'd been with this company for 3 years. He was fairly wretched in life as far as where he was and what he wanted on his own statement, not mine. And he's like, well, I did this much per month times 12. And then he trumped it up. I said, you can't get Americans to do quality labor for that. Yeah. I was like, how many squares can you put on the roof for that? And every time I say stuff, they'll be like, and I'll be like, so you want jobs that equal millions of dollars per year, but you're not going to pay anybody any money at all unless it could maybe be spent in India or the Philippines.
Right.
Maybe. At which point you'll get horrible work. And so I just bring it up because you're a digital brand. You need something going. People in your market that are up in Pack 3 mapping, all you have to do is go into any market and type in Pack 3 mapping and read off like the first 3, 4, even 5 people.
Yeah.
And they'll go, oh, well, that's so-and-so.
Oh, he's been there forever.
You mean the guy that respects marketing, that attempted to send digital brand signaling to Google and give them what they want and dominates their market and makes millions, has a lake house and happy
There's a
life?
Reasonably good chance in a major market that guy is our client.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so those people up there are working it, going for it. And for someone to miss it entirely.
Yeah.
I would argue that your first job always is marketing. I was a contractor as well. I did a home security business for years. My family was in flooring, and when I was really young, I mowed lawns and painted curb numbers. And you've got to try to get up in ranking, and things have changed drastically in the last 18 months, and most people are going around talking about blogging, ChatGPT content, and links.
They're talking about stuff that was technically on the way out 18 months ago.
Right.
And then in those 18 months, Google has pushed that even further and just completely cut that off.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but it's content nobody wants to read that you put up to gain Google. Instead of putting up content that people would like to read that helps champion your digital brand.
Right.
So we do all of that, things like data pens. We've spent almost $2 million I have on a different company on proprietary software called Data Pens. You can look it up at datapens.com, DATAPINS. And It gives signals of where you're coming to work, even if you don't leave, even if they didn't leave a review, although we asked the client for a review with that software. And then you get to talk about materials and situations and leaks around chimney flashing or putting up Brava barrel tiles or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they need content, they need digital brand signaling. It needs to be a good user experience. And then I had another guy the other day argued with me and said, well, everybody in ranking has blogs, therefore you're wrong. And I said on the phone, that's a flawed logical conclusion.
Yeah, that is a logical fallacy.
It is because they have blogs and they're up in ranking doesn't mean that's why. It's just that they had good digital brand signaling and it's a very major market. So you have very old roofing companies.
Right.
And those roofing companies are up there despite the blogs, which are trash.
Yeah. And let's make the point that at one time those blogs worked great. That's why they did them.
Correct.
And
they fought for it.
Yeah, they fought for it and did it. We used to do it because it worked, but it doesn't anymore.
We quit blogging, though, years
5 years ago.
Yeah, other people are still blogging today. And when someone takes something old like a blog and says, I'm super smart, I'm going to add ChatGPT to it that like a 9-year-old could do, then you have absolute direct spam that Google's going to lash out against.
Yeah. And it's important to note that when we're talking about content and what's defined as helpful for local search, there is a big difference between a pin that says, we put on this kind of tile on this roof,
right,
and a useless blog that says, what type of tile should you put on your roof? Those are very different statements, very different approaches.
The data pin literally shows the geocoordinate where it was located.
Yeah.
Shows actual pictures that count as unique content. They can tell they're unique.
Yeah.
And the technical version, we repaired a certain shade color of a Brava barrel tile.
Yeah, we did this thing.
Right here.
And the encoded in the schema of each pin is code that tells Google this is a service check-in. This is a place that we performed this service.
So you did the job and they didn't leave a review, but you got to champion your digital brand and toot your horn, and then Google picks it up and sees it and says, wow, these 2 sentences about Brava barrel tiles validate that he actually performs the service in the marketplace and is much better content than this trashy 600-word ChatGPT written blog about tile roofing.
Yeah.
And they'll literally show that in ranking and give you, I guess, sometimes rich snippet or high rankings.
Yeah, we've literally seen the text caption of a pin as a rich snippet.
Yeah, as opposed to the blog about tile roofing literally causing a penalty.
Yeah.
On your website.
A rich snippet, by the way, is those little bits of text sometimes that you see in a box inserted above the other organic results.
Above anything. Yeah, it's a primary answer for that.
It's above position 1.
Yeah, so I stopped to kind of help you see. So there are people that call in here that grossly misunderstand it and then try to argue the point.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't really matter. At that point, we don't have a potential client anyway.
Yeah.
But
the ridiculousness of calling us and then arguing with us is just it's hard to bridge.
Well, there's a difference. Somebody that listens, so I don't know where that line is with somebody. Yeah. So I'll end up.
Well, you don't know till they cross it.
Right. We'll end up and invested in a conversation trying to work with a potential new client. And when you realize that they're like, well, no, I'm just going to go to my grave, never really doing anything with this, ignoring professional help. That's the best there is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spin negative narratives and future trip bad situations and ignore all this stuff and just continue my way. It's like, okay, well, did you? And I asked that guy, he was getting a GoDaddy site developed at the time. And GoDaddy, Wix, Duda, Weebly, like all the cheapest websites known to man, for you to make millions. So you want to show up and have the best user experience possible.
Yeah.
But you choose to partake in the cheapest things known to man in the USA to have a website put up. And he was going to have that website put up and then not work on it. And I said, and he was asking me a lot of questions. So let me turn the question around on you and ask you, do you think that once you put up your GoDaddy website and then you work on it in the way that you're suggesting or you don't work on it, do you think you're going to compete for Pack 3 mapping against these other people in the marketplace that I mentioned? And he's like, and he would, people always go, and they'll go silent.
Yeah.
I was like, you know that that's not going to occur. You know that won't happen. And you innately know it, even though you need to educate yourself about all this. You innately know it. I said, you are a digital brand. You're going to put up one of the cheapest websites known to man. He said, well, I didn't know it was one of the cheapest. I said, yes, you did.
Because that's why you went for it.
You did. That's why you went for it. But then, and I wouldn't even be explaining this to you if you'd only done this one time. You know, this was your first one.
Yeah.
I'll back up and even give credit to somebody a little bit. So if somebody enters a marketplace and there's a $50 a month website and SEO effort all the way to 10,000,
Yeah.
and that is the market. So all the way to 10,000. And somebody were to start at 10,000, that would be dumb. That would be dumb.
Because you don't know better, and if you start at 10,000, you're probably getting shafted.
But when somebody goes in and tries all the cheap stuff over and over again for years,
and either never goes above X amount,
Right.
or in some cases, like that guy, consistently reduces how much they're spending.
yeah.
That's insane.
So I have some analogies on this. I don't know if they're relevant or not, but like I had, I'm doing the coach. I'm playing with coaching stuff because I end up coaching clients all
constantly.
Whether somebody took that the right way or wrong way, that was me being super nice to that guy and trying to draw him out of the darkness.
Because we didn't just say, "Hey, you're stupid."
No, I never was rude.
We tried to
him.
bring him around.
I was trying to help him, and then I rightfully so, planted seeds of wisdom so that he could see the light and then see what needs to be done. Somebody listening to a podcast does that, but somebody gets in a state of mind and they'll actually like denounce stuff or change their paradigm of what stuff is to suit them. Yeah. And most people will lower themselves and then justify it. And I had I'm playing with coaching stuff for myself, and I haven't done any yet. I don't know if I'm going to because I'm busy, but I'm doing a personal brand just because it's out there and I'm a marketing guy, so I got to try stuff. I'm a business guy, but a lot of those guys go over like lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. And I had decided that I 100% will never drive a Ferrari around.
Right.
I was telling my kids think I'm hateful, but I think a man that's really wealthy that drives a Ferrari is a douchebag, and a man that's poor and pays the note is also a douchebag. They're all
just different flavor of
They're
douchebag.
all douchebags, and I don't think it's me being hateful. If I'm hateful and I hate on something, it prevents me from achieving it.
Yeah.
But a guy who claims, and the part of it is a little off topic, but it's interesting anyway. But the guy talking about the $2,000 website and justifying, well, I paid $50 a month and for 8 months, and then I paid $750 a month for a year, and then I paid $299 for a year.
It's like, did you think you were going to get more?
He took 36
by
months
less?
and then times it all up, and I said it wasn't enough. There's post-inflation, post-trillions, and you want Americans to work. But I had thought about it. I was like, have I dumbed down? Did I settle for less? And my wife wanted, I think a lot of women want a bigger house a lot of times. I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but I heard a guy say one time, a man never wants a large home. A man wants like a cabin in the woods or next to the river on the lake or something, wants something simple. The woman wants the large house. Yeah. Man might want the car to show out to society, but I never want to show out to society, but I didn't want to restrict my own lifestyle based upon me having troubles and being beaten down in life.
A man doesn't want a large home. He wants one room in a home that he can retreat to.
Leave me alone. Then when I come out, I'm master of my domain. Otherwise, I'm back here. Yeah. But anyway, so I had kind of rethought some of those things as I think about it. And as I look at other people and I see them basically jack up their mentality. I am big on like thought manifestation. I actually think it's biblical, but somebody can create their own destiny by like willing it into existence, or they can piss it all away. Yeah. And most of the people literally piss away their ability to even show up and not understand something like a brand. And it's not a hard concept, but you first have to kind of go back and fix all your other stuff. I'm drawing back some of the stuff, and it's not like I haven't lived a fabulous fairy-tale life on some things, but I'm going to get a little bit larger home and redo some lifestyle stuff, mainly for myself, some for public perception, but barely any.
Yeah.
Not enough to make me feel like a douchebag about it. But I want to make sure that I haven't shrouded my stuff or negative future tripped a thing or drew things down, because I do see people do it all day long.
Yeah.
Like, well, you just mentioned the top 5 guys in the market. I said, yeah, they're all in top ranking.
There's a reason
They send out digital branded signaling. Some stuff needs to be fixed, but I can almost guarantee you that if some of these top dogs lose it, they will come out fighting. And when they call up here, they will not argue about the nature of it.
They'll call us and say, hey, I've got this 2,000-page site. I've got all these blogs, but it's slipping. Why? Can you tell me why?
We pulled on half the guys do that.
Yeah.
And half the guys don't.
Yeah.
And the guys that don't ever get up in ranking
Right.
and complain about it. So can I live in the house my wife wants to live in and pay the taxes on everything? Probably. I'm gonna be positive about it this time around. See what happens. Reevaluate some of the stuff, but I know that if my mindset is set against it, it won't happen.
Right.
You know. So we onboarded.
And if your mind's set against it and you're pushed into it, you'll hate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm good. Good. But we're selling some condos and Airbnb stuff on an island somewhere, and like I said, I have pretty big dreams. I go for stuff and I fight for things. I'm just telling you, as a business owner to business owner, you'd better fight for it and try. We onboarded somebody this week, and he became a client. So not everybody does that. It's just frustrating people do, especially.
Yeah.
I have to draw the line and go, I can't talk to that guy. Very often. How many people would I say I won't talk to in order to be paid? I'm a Texas capitalist.
He'll do anything for a buck.
No,
Almost
within reason. Yeah, I'm not gonna eat crow, have somebody burn all my time up nonstop.
Yeah.
I don't do that kind of stuff.
But most of the time, it's a recognition that if we sign that client, if we get someone to sign up who's in that headspace, that they're not going to last long.
No, if they don't,
and they're going to fight instead of fighting for their spot in the market. They're going to fight us while we're trying to get it for them. It's a
true statement. Yeah, it's a true statement. We had a guy yesterday that you called. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, like a day or two.
Yeah, okay.
And this is a sharp guy. So he'd been with a guy for 8 years in a market, and the site doesn't show up for stuff. It's got a lot of AI content and trash in it, by the way. I didn't even go into all that with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to redo everything, of course, what we call an SEO overhaul. And he had some issues, other stuff that we fix, address and name and other things going on. We talked about all of it. The guy that he had, per him, was a 70-plus-year-old guy doing the stuff that he'd had for 8 years. So he went to get the domain transferred to a GoDaddy account in his name.
Right.
And when he did that, this guy, and I just described him a little bit because I don't think that every time that you're 70-something that you're off your game, but it's an indication.
We're not that far from it, so we don't want to say that.
There's a difference. You can be top of your game.
Yeah.
If I ever dip out of it, that's why I'm doing my personal brand right now.
Yeah.
I've got to. I won't stop until I'm drooling in a chair somewhere. I told you, it was not going to happen. I would never go down without fighting like mad. So everything we're doing right now is everything top notch, all we can do.
Right.
And I don't know, every once in a while you got to reinvent everything. Anyway, this guy says, hey, don't forget to tell them that I just redid this whole website. And it's a red flag. And the guy emails me or texts me or something, said, hey, by the way, we got a brand new website. So I want to lay the premise on you here. The guy's dealing with someone that was not doing a good job.
Right.
He had lost a lot of ranking in his marketplace, even though he, if you didn't hear, had been with this guy for 8 years, which means he had a lot of tenure. Remember, experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Trust is tenure kind of too. So he'd been around.
It's part of it, yeah.
But he was dropping in rankings. The guy, and I said, Jason, call this guy. Call this new client. I said, he's probably fine, but just make sure he understands that we have to make a new website. And why do we have to make a new website? Because Google judges everything. And you can't leave up your crud and that doesn't work now and expect it to work after we get a hold of it. We
Yeah,
can't,
yeah, we can't bolt on data pins and that
Yeah.
fixes everything.
This is not, if there's a turd in the floor, we're going to, we can't go spray it with cologne, the finest Parisian cologne, and make that turd smell good. So we go through and redo everything, right?
Yeah.
And we have to, so that when they come spider that site, they see the 100 points of schema code that we do on every design. They see the new content and the structuring, and everything's great. And they're like, this is much better. Thanks for not just pouring cologne on that turd. Like, I knew that we thought y'all were
You
going to.
scooped the turd, you threw it away, and you cleaned the floor.
Yeah, we called in the dry cleaning, and then, yeah. So
I think we've pushed this metaphor as far as we can go.
probably. So, guy gets it redone. Jason, to this guy's credit, calls up and says, yeah, we got to redo the site.
Yeah.
And
He calls and he goes, I said, yeah, you had sent in about a redo on the site and it had been done. He goes, yeah, my old guy just said he wanted you guys to know that he had just redone it. And he goes, I don't know if that matters. And I said, well, to be frank, it doesn't, because even if you got it done yesterday, we're doing a new one because we
and he
always
said,
do
to
that.
his credit, I'm a contractor. You're a marketer. I'll do my business. You do yours.
Yeah, he said, I'll do my part, you do your part. And I was like, awesome.
And this guy has a lot of trucks on the road.
Yeah.
Does a lot of business. He fell from ranking, called up, didn't complain. We have a relationship with him. We had a good connection. We've been in business 15 years. We have a proprietary software. We told him what needs to be done, and we go for it. And that guy's going to go and pop back up in ranking and retake his spot. He didn't bitch. He didn't complain. He wasn't disrespectful.
He was just, how do I fix this?
Yeah.
Okay, sign me up.
And those are the guys you want to be like. Guys, I don't even know how else to put it. Like, I think some of this stuff, I did a short the other day, and I thought it was funny, but if somebody's listening to this form of it, I think they'll probably respond to it better. I throw something up on Instagram and like, I can't charge enough because I don't market. Whang.
Oh.
It's like, nobody calls me, so then I got to charge too little for my services. Whang. And like, a lot of people listen to that.
It's the little
and
thing
like,
that
whang,
does it.
and nobody like liked it,
It's like, screw you.
Yeah. But on the flip side of this, man, you can't get better people, more down to earth than roofing webmasters. You can't get data pins anywhere but here. We fixed the problem with digital brand signaling and content because you can't slam links out of Mumbai, India, and put bullcrap blogging up with ChatGPT and make it work. But they need digital brand signaling.
Right.
They need to know about you if you want to show up and have those valuable placements so you can get daily call volume and make your life happen. And we do that very well. And we're still month to month, all these years later. And the services keep stepping up. We're working on the coolest crud possible right now. And I'm not going to say it out loud because if we got any sniveling bastards out there trying to steal crap from us in the industry,
And we do.
and I know you're watching, I'm not going to tell you what we're doing. But we got some stuff
we
coming.
first built DataPin 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we are constantly working to improve it, either on the back end. We actually did a massive overhaul recently to upgrade speed on data
Yeah, a
pins.
lot of cool
and
stuff.
now we're adding more features again.
Yep.
So
It's cool stuff.
we've got
coming.
a lot in the pipe.
Always thinking about it. Always thinking about the best return on investment for the client. And we've got a new consulting deal that we do, some extra special consulting with the clients. Will help you maximize our ROI. It may not even be money spent with us, on what to do next.
Right.
But guys, like and subscribe. Call us. I like a phone call. You can text us off the website. You can DM us off social media. You can email form us.
Leave comments on the video.
Yeah, I still like a good old-fashioned phone call. I know it's fallen from favor, but there will be a phone call talking to me before somebody onboards to this day.
Right.
And I would personally love to speak with you. I ain't going nowhere. And Jason and me just entered our prime. So
I'm in my prime.
call us while we're good, man. All
Take it
right,
easy.
we'll see you.